What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the post-game show for the Knicks versus the Orlando Magic. I am your host, Troy, and you could be on any other stream right now, but you're choosing to be here with me, and I really do appreciate it. Before we get started in today's show and talk about tonight's game against the Orlando Magic, all the great things that we saw tonight, and some things that, let's face it, weren't so great to look at, I gotta say it again like I always do. Guys, as you know, we are on a mission, a goal to try to reach 25,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy daily Knicks content like this, enjoy the post games, the clips, the guest interviews, and all of the other content that we drop, please consider hitting that subscribe button because it could really support all the great content that we're creating for you. But let's get to tonight's game. With this win over the Orlando Magic, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks are now third in the Eastern Conference. Now, obviously, it wasn't easy in terms of the game and how we started off, right? Because honestly, with the Knicks, the way we started off this game, it felt like it was the same thing like last game. It was a tale of two halves. The first half, the Knicks really wasn't playing defense like that. They weren't really attacking like they should have. And when they were in their offense, they were settling for a lot of shots. They weren't really running the offense that they normally would run. They were doing exactly what Orlando wanted them to do. And they were allowing Orlando to run everything that they wanted to run. They were attacking inside. They were doing everything that they wanted to do inside. And they were cutting inside as well, too. Orlando is missing a lot of key pieces on their team. So the fact that we allowed them to play the game they wanted to play in the first half was not the way we play basketball. But the way we closed that second quarter and headed into that second half, that's New York Knicks basketball. Moving the ball, moving ourselves, getting others involved, making the extra pass. And then the defense in that second half was absolutely tremendous. Way better than the first half. We were stopping a lot of the penetration inside, and that led the Magic to shoot a lot of those three-point shots. Some of them they made, some of them they didn't make. But at the end of the game, we still got the W and walked out of there with the victory. We can point to a lot of reasons why the Knicks won this game. But for me, 3 players made the difference. And some of these players may not get a lot of shine, but one of them deserves a lot of it. Mikal Bridges shut down Jalen Suggs, who going into tonight's game was their best player, especially offensively. But we made it a hard time for him. Then you had the captain, Jalen Brunson, doing what he does best, leading us, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Oh, well, he didn't do anything too impressive. Just got his first 20-plus game as a New York Knick. Nothing too impressive, but we're going to break down everything regarding the Knicks, the Orlando Magic, why the Knicks won this game, but also why the game was so close. And in my opinion, too close. The Knicks should have blew out the Magic. They didn't, but we're going to get to why as we break down a lot of parts for today's game. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on. So anytime we drop new content, you get notified. And now, let's get started. The Knicks beat the Magic with a second half push. And it was an amazing second half to talk about. Now, obviously, we have to start the game and we have to give flowers where flowers are due. I don't do this often, guys, but I got to do it here. The Orlando Magic, bravo to them. Undermanned, missing Franz Wagner, missing Paolo Banchero, missing a lot of their key players that play a significant role for them. So technically, the Knicks should have came into Orlando and blew them out. We're talking about MSG South. We heard the entire arena chant for Deuce McBride and Jalen Brunson when they were hitting those threes. So it's not like the Orlando Magic had the crowd factor, even though they've been a very good team at home. But we have to understand they were missing a lot of players. The Knicks should have taken advantage of this game, but the Magic, to their credit, did not allow the Knicks to do that. And they did it in 2 ways. First of all, the switching on defense, the aggression on defense, and how aggressive they were on offense. The Knicks should have known the game plan going into this game. The Magic cannot shoot anything. They can't shoot a 3 to save their life. We're going to get to those stats so you understand why, because they couldn't make a bucket tonight. That's one of the main reasons the Knicks won this game. But putting that aside for a second here, the Orlando Magic were so aggressive in that first quarter. They were attacking. They were cutting. And that's the main reason they were in the game. They can't shoot, but what they can do is they can make shots for other players and get them wide open. Their rookie, De Silva, he had so many open looks from three because they were penetrating, creating, and swinging the ball to him. That's what a lot of teams do to New York, and that's what the Orlando Magic was doing early on. The Knicks couldn't really stop it. The only thing I can say is thank goodness for Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges, if he's not playing that defense on Suggs tonight, hounding him, making the game so difficult for him, I don't know if the Knicks win this game so easily, because Jalen Suggs, when he gets going, when he goes off, he goes off. He can score. And clearly, whatever he does offensively, whether he's good or not, it's not going to affect his defense. He is going to play aggressively on defense, and he did it all night long against Jalen Brunson. He did it all night long against a lot of players on the Knicks. I was worried there for the first half. I thought it was going to be another Dyson Daniels situation on Jalen Brunson, where he was going to get shut down again. I am so thankful that the captain proved everybody wrong and said, you're going to play physical against me? You're not going to call anything against us? You're going to allow these guys to hit me in my face, run over me, knock me down, and you're not going to say anything? And by the way, the Knicks allowed the physicality in the first half to take advantage of them. The physicality took them out of the game. We have to admit that. And you know what's so funny about that? Last year, who used to do that? We used to do that. We used to be the team that would play you so physical that other teams around the league would complain, that's not a foul? The refs are not going to call that? What are the Magic doing now? The exact same thing. That's why you have to give some credit to them. They were playing us well. But the refs, I mean, for some plays, they got to be blind. The Knicks were getting assaulted. Hit down low. OG Anunoby gets mauled. Hit on the shoulder. No call. Miles McBride rolls to the rim. He basically gets attacked by Jalen Suggs. No call. That's because the refs have respect for the level of defense that Orlando plays. They're playing in Orlando as well, too. And let's face it, for the last, week, have the Knicks really got any calls to go their way? I'm not saying that the NBA is out for the Knicks or they hate them. But I mean, some of these foul calls are blatant, and they're not calling them. If I can see them, and I'm complaining about them, and I normally don't do that, then I mean, there's something to say. Something's going on there. We need to stop it. But either way, nonetheless, the Knicks adapted. That was the biggest thing. When you're playing a team that physical and the refs are not calling anything, what else can you do but be aggressive back and adapt? And that's what they did in the second half. They didn't complain in the second half. They just attacked. They packed the paint. They made sure shots weren't easy, and they made sure Orlando stuck to more jump shooting. And a lot of those jump shots were open. Look at Mo Wagner. We're going to get to what he did. He had a career high tonight because we allowed him to have a career high. The three-point shots were open for them. Perimeter defense is still a problem for New York, but you got to pick your battles. Do you want them to get the easy two or make them take those hard three-point shots that they really can't make? The Knicks had to pick one. They picked the Orlando Magic to shoot those threes. And at the end of the game, it worked out in their favor because the Knicks were able to battle. They were able to keep the lead even though Orlando kept fighting back. It was a 10-point game, fought back to a 6-point game. 14-point lead for the Knicks. They battled back to a 7-point lead. And then going into that fourth quarter, they kept battling until the Knicks ran away with it. They took the game over and they never let it go. And as we can see here, final score of the night, 100 for the Knicks, 91 for the Orlando Magic. I got to say it again. Orlando deserves a lot of credit for being that scrappy against us. They did not have to come with that intensity. Obviously, with the match they just lost against the Bucks, they really didn't have a lot to go into this game with. But they came, they saw, and they definitely took advantage of what the Knicks were giving them in that first half. New York allowed them to run inside as much as they wanted to. They shut it off in the second half, but the consistency that I was talking about, that I get made fun of sometimes in the comments, where people say, well, Troy, you're talking about consistency. It's still so early. How long are we going to say it's so early before we start talking about the fact that consistency is an issue? And this game proves it to you, like every game does. First half, we were not the same team that we were in the second half. We closed out the first half very well, and we continued that into the second quarter. Into the second half. into the third and fourth quarters. But why wasn't it there for the entire first half and pretty much a lot of that second quarter? And even though the defense was up and down, our offense wasn't there because we kept settling for shots, isolation, not moving the ball. We allowed the Magic to take us out of our element. We were not playing New York Knicks basketball, and that's why we lost the game. That's why we were losing so much in that first half. And I even thought, when you look at the score, you might think to yourself, well, look at the quarter. You look at the quarter-to-quarter breakdown, Knicks tied the first quarter 22-22, but then in the second quarter, they ran away with it 29-19. You see, it's easy to look at the stats in the box score and not watch the game and think to yourself, well, the Knicks did great in that first half, right? Look what they did in the second quarter. They ran away with the lead a little bit. Yes, in the closing minutes of that second quarter, they did that. But if you watch the game, there's reasons to be concerned. There are a lot of times they gave up defensively on certain plays. A lot of three-point shots that Mo Wagner was shooting. You saw Karl-Anthony Towns jog up halfway, stop, watch the three-point shot get taken. Same thing for Josh Hart at times. We've seen this too often. Perimeter defense for the Knicks is a problem. And then if that's a problem and we're not playing interior defense and our transition defense is bad and the Magic are a young team and they're running up the floor each and every time, it's going to cause chaos. It's going to cause problems. And that's what happened in the first half. Thankfully, the Knicks were able to settle down, take control of the game in the second half. But the first half is a problem, and it goes back to my points. Consistency. I've said it for a number of post games now. You guys have heard me say it like a broken record, but it's a problem. If you're not a consistent team, you're not a championship team. You can say whatever you want to say. Consistency wins championships. You think you can win championships by playing okay one game, bad another game, good another game, bad another game? That doesn't win championships, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't do it. You can look at the quarter-to-quarter breakdown here. The second half, even though the Knicks, I thought, played way better in the second half, what we're noticing here is that, look at the quarter-to-quarter breakdown. You wouldn't notice that. You wouldn't think that, right? Third quarter, 24-26 in favor of the Magic. Even though in the third quarter, the Knicks played improved defense, much better defense in the third quarter than they played the entire game. But you wouldn't know that watching the box score and just looking at the third quarter here. Fourth quarter, 25-24. Knicks win that one by a point. Again, the Knicks were very, very good to balance the lead that they made in that second quarter and not squander it. And you got to thank Jalen Brunson for that. 31 points, 8 of 18 from the field, 11 of 14 from the free throw line. And like we saw with Mo Wagner, like I said, he had a career high tonight, 32 points, 10 of 15 for the field, 8 of 11 from the field. I wish I could show you what his three-point percentage is. I think I have a slide for it. We'll see. But he shot really well from three tonight. But the reason he shot really well from three is because the Knicks allowed him to shoot really well from three. He would have never got those stats if he was not wide open. And I'm talking about so wide open that you're thinking it's practice. After this kid hits 2 wide open threes and he makes them, why not put a body on him? You know how frustrating it is as a fan watching it and watching him be so wide open and watching him set, bounce the ball, hold the ball, and shoot the ball. What's my biggest pet peeve, ladies and gentlemen? Giving up on a play defensively and watching that player set, do all the motions, and shoot the shot. At the NBA level, that should never be allowed. And the Knicks allow it way too often. Too often for what I like. But I don't want to talk about that much of the negatives in terms of what the Knicks didn't do, because we can harp on that for a while. I did talk about the defensive issues already, and maybe we can get back to that. We won the game. I want to talk about a couple of reasons on why we won the game. And one of those main reasons, Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges, in terms of what he did tonight. Now, maybe the stats aren't going to show it, because I'm going to show you it's going to say 17 points, 7 of 11 from the field. And you're going to think to yourself, that's it? That's all he did? That's what you're bragging about? Watch the game. I'm talking about from the tip-off, when Karl-Anthony Towns tips that ball to the Knicks side and Jalen Brunson has it. From that moment, Mikal Bridges changes everything. His defense on Jalen Suggs was absolutely miraculous. Talk about shutdown. Jalen Suggs couldn't do anything. He was in a box. He was in a box, a paper bag. He could not see the basket. And even when he could get a shot, he knew there was no chance to breathe. You're going to breathe with Mikal Bridges down your back like that? with Mikal Bridges hounding you like that. Mikal didn't allow him to breathe once. And even when he had a chance, he thought that the other player was going to come right along him. So he was worried, rushed his shot. So a lot of the open shots he had, he missed. So some of it was some of it was good defense from Mikal Bridges. Some of it was very, very poor play from the Magic. And some of it was just missed opportunities. But I'll take it because shutting down Suggs, for me, was one of the main things. I made this graphic for this postgame a while ago. And there was two players I put on the screen, Mikal Bridges and Jalen Suggs, right? Reason for that, because I knew Mikal was the answer to Suggs. And I knew Suggs was going to be a problem. And I knew one was going to cancel out the other. It was going to happen either way. Either Suggs was going to get the best of Mikal, which he tried to run away from him all game. Couldn't do it. Or Mikal was going to get the better of him. And that's what we saw. The box score does not do this man justice. Probably his best game on offense and on defense as a Knick in totality for the season. He has done exactly what Knick fans wanted to see him do. That impressive defensive play on both sides of the ball, it doesn't just happen like that. You can tell he has been coached to do that. He's being told to do that. His teammates are encouraging him to do that because he's that type of player that can get those points, that can help us get that type of box score. Mikal Bridges, so impressive tonight, and I just have to mention it because, again, I don't think he's going to get a lot of shine here just because Mikal, during some of the plays, I'm not saying he didn't get caught defensively, but I think that when you're talking about Mikal Bridges at times, he's not going to get the same praise as a Jalen or as a Karl-Anthony Towns because a lot of what he does isn't flashy. You have to actually watch defense to watch what Mikal does so beautifully. And tonight, shutting down the passing lane, getting in front of Suggs, making him uncomfortable, always being around him. Amazing. Just absolutely amazing play from Mikal Bridges, something that we have to talk about. And I had to just really put to you guys' attention and make sure you guys understand that because, like I said, he just owned that matchup against Jalen. Excuse me. Getting a little sick, guys. You got to excuse me for that. Let me take a drink here. Woo. Always hype. So, I lose my voice very, very often. Can't tell you guys what's in the red cup tonight. Maybe at the end of the show, I will, though. But we talked about Mikal. Let's talk about another hero of tonight's game. You know what we're going to be talking about? It's our guy, Karl-Anthony Towns. Towns tonight recorded 22 points and 22 rebounds against Orlando, marking the 13th time in his career, first time as a Knick, recording 20-plus points and 20-plus rebounds. 22 points for Karl-Anthony Towns, 22 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 of 15 from the field. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns was doing it on all sides of the floor. But the thing is, I know people are going to make a lot of comments about his points and his rebounds. The 5 assists, I think, are the main selling points for me in his game. He found Mikal Bridges a number of times, found Jalen Brunson a number of times. He has a very uncanny ability to just make the right play and the right pass. And I'm not going to say he does it right all the time. He does make some boneheaded plays at times. Sometimes he does it. Sometimes he tries to get a little fancy with the pass, passes it above his head or behind the back. And there's a lot of people behind him. He just shouldn't make those passes. However, when he is making the right plays, it just looks like beautiful basketball. He's not even thinking about it at times. He's just making the right read because he sees it. Jalen does it at times. Karl-Anthony Towns does it at times. It's actually contagious. I've seen Mikal Bridges do it at times. So I got to give credit to Karl-Anthony Towns because he was doing I have to give credit to Karl-Anthony Towns because he was doing his thing. He did exactly what I wanted to see him do. But even more than that, he didn't let the matchup with Mo Wagner, who he definitely does not like. I mean, he doesn't like that matchup. He lowers his shoulder so many times against Mo. I mean, either he's doing it accidentally or he knows who he's playing against. He dropped that shoulder at least 5 times. And I know how Towns plays. He bangs, right? Bangs. He doesn't do this. He bangs. He dropped that shoulder low and swung. He hates Mo Wagner. He doesn't like that guy. He doesn't like him. I don't like him either. I don't like the energy that he plays with, how much he talks out there, how he likes to get into other people's faces. Now, I'm sure the Orlando Magic love it. I don't love it. I don't like that kid. So I like when Towns goes at him, tries to dunk over him, playing the floater game. You guys saw that floater game from Towns, high off the glass? Every time I watch Towns play on offense, depending on who he goes against, he pulls out something else from his bag. Something else on offense that I haven't really seen that well or haven't seen often. I'm not saying he doesn't have a floater game, but to shoot it so high, float it so high off the glass, that was like Steph Curry-like in a way. Very, very, very good offense from Karl-Anthony Towns. And if you watch the broadcast, they were talking about Towns and his offense and about how quiet it was. If you were watching the game, the reason it was quiet is because Orlando was playing defense from start to finish. They never stopped. This team was active. The one thing you got to say about them is they never quit on a play. They continue to go after it. They continue to be active. And until the refs call a foul, they're going to continue to play aggressive. I don't care if they have 5 fouls. Jalen Suggs showed you that. Jalen Suggs made no sense. His last foul made no sense. You have 5 fouls. Not saying you're going to win the game. You have 5 fouls. You're playing against Jalen Brunson. You're half court. Why are you playing him that aggressively? What is wrong with you? You just wanted to be out of the game. You were tired. The refs did not call certain plays for you. You were getting pushed around, knocked down, on the floor. You wanted to be out of the game. So what did you do? You made sure you were out of the game. And, I can't really blame you. Jalen Brunson, cooked. I want to say cooked. I'm going to say cooked. Yes, cooked you. Cooked you, good sir. Cooked you. And Mikal Bridges stopped you. Isn't that great? Isn't that so good to see? You see Mikal Bridges, stop him. And Jalen Brunson, cook him. And Karl-Anthony Towns, clean it all up. 22 rebounds. Oh, my goodness. It sounds nasty to say. It was great to witness, great to see. I love that Karl-Anthony Towns is capable of this. Never really knew he could do that. Not really get this many rebounds so consistently. I know he could get rebounds, but this many, this high, this consistently, these are career numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody could have predicted this. Towns, amazing. However, got some more amazing players, don't we? Let's all do it together. Come on now. You know what I'm talking about. The man that Jalen Suggs could not stop. Tried to stop. Tried so badly to stop. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Because Jalen Brunson tonight, ladies and gentlemen, 31 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. The captain was in on business tonight. And Orlando was the mission. 31. And when I'm talking about 31 points, he was battling for those points. Pushed around, pushed down, no foul calls, hit on the arm, grabbed on the arm, pulled on the arm, yanked on the arm, pulled jersey, pulled shorts. I'm not the only one that's seeing all of this, right? You guys are seeing it too. This man is getting abused and assaulted. No calls. And then there's one play. 4th quarter. Jalen Suggs. I think it's the 4th quarter. It might have been the 3rd quarter. I'm going to say 4th and go with that. 4th quarter. He goes against Suggs. Suggs is playing him aggressively, right? Continues to play him aggressively. Brunson says, you're not going to call it? You're not going to call it? You're not going to call it? Fine. Throw up the basket. Ah! That's what I like to see. That's the energy. That's the captain. That's the guy you need to lead us. And he did it in every single facet of the game. You needed a pass? I'll get you a pass. You needed me to score a bucket? I'll score a bucket. I'll hit a 3. I'll make the defense collapse on me so I can get an open shot for Mikal, so I can get an open look for Josh Hart, so I can get an open look for OG Anunoby. The captain did it all, did it from every angle, and a lot of people may look at this game from the captain and think, Jalen Brunson needs to pass the ball more. Jalen Brunson didn't pass the ball more. You didn't watch the game. If you're telling me that, then you didn't watch the game, because I can count about 7 shots of passes from Jalen that we just missed and we were open. So I don't want to hear none of that. Jalen Brunson hate, not allowed here. The captain is one of the main reasons we won this game tonight. He was aggressive attacked and let Orlando know, you want to continue to attack me? I'm going to go to the line, and I'm also going to get into the paint. I'm also going to take this contact. And if you're going to continue to hit me, I'm going to adapt and make the shot anyways. What did he do? Adapt and make the shot anyways. 31 points from the captain, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges. All of us need to give them a standing ovation because they deserve it. We don't win this game without Mikal Bridges' defense, Karl-Anthony Towns rebounding, and Jalen Brunson's offensive firepower. That gift on offense that he's given us each and every game, but came through tonight in such a clutch way. It looks like an easy game. It looks like it when you watch the box score, but you don't watch the game. When you watch that game, way too competitive for my liking. Way too close for my liking. We should have blown the Magic out, but credit to them. They fought back, and they continued to push the pace and push the game. You can't really hate on them for that. Before we go into the team stats, the game stats, also, of course, the shot chart, everybody's favorite part, and I know you guys want me to go into that. I always do this, so I'm going to continue the trend. I'm going to go to the chat gang, get your take, and see what you guys have to say about tonight's game. What did you like? What did you didn't like? If I didn't say something yet, maybe you want me to talk about something, mention it in the chat now. Now's your opportunity. Once we cover that, we're going to go through more of the team stats and get you up to date on how the Knicks won this game. And in certain parts, how it was very, very magical that they won this game. Because there's one stat that when you look at it, shows that they shouldn't have won this game, but they did it anyways. We're going to get to that. Stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. Going to the chat gang. See what you guys have to say. Yuri, my moderator, my guy, a member as well, too. Shout out to you. Happy we got the free throw slump out of the way. I mean, we did, but we still missed a couple. Look, I'm not going to get too mad. It's better than the other game, but still, I mean, it's free throws for a reason. Can we just make them more consistently, you know? Appreciate the comment. Sharon says 22 and 22. Karl-Anthony Towns, he's referencing, obviously. 22, 22, 5, 7 to 15 from the field. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns is just an amazing, amazing player tonight. I mean, did so many good things for New York. Can't even deny it. Shout out to Sharon as well, too. Great member. Joseph says, let's go, Knicks. Let's go, baby. We got that W. I know it was against the Magic. I know we should have blown them out, but I like to win. The real Django in the house. Appreciate you, my brother. Another member and moderator. He says the refs sucked hard. They definitely did, man. I don't know what they saw. What are they watching tonight? I mean, if nobody saw the same foul on Deuce McBride go into the paint, I mean, we all saw that. There's no way nobody who's watching this game with two eyes didn't see that. We're watching two different games. Jalen Suggs gets too much credit. I know he's a good defender, but come on. He grabbed Deuce's arm here and hits his head before he touches the ball. He got mauled, man. Get out of here with that. Harold says, we need playoff Brunson back. I think we're getting a little bit of playoff Brunson. We're not? I mean, 31, 3, and 5. We're not getting a little bit of playoff Brunson tonight? I thought Brunson was doing everything he needed to do. He didn't push the pace. He didn't make the game harder for everybody. He made the game a little bit easier, especially in that second half. Carl says, did you talk about how Mikal Bridges took Jalen Suggs to jail? I did talk about that. I spent a lengthy time on it, but you know what? If you're joining the stream, let me enlighten you again. The box score does not showcase what Mikal Bridges did. 17 points, 7, 11 from the field. You look at that and you think to yourself, I mean, that's not too impressive unless you watch the game, ladies and gentlemen. Mikal Bridges on defense tonight, probably the best consistent, listen to that word, consistent defensive effort from Mikal Bridges. Since the first possession, he made sure that Suggs was absolutely shut down. Nothing easy for him. And anything that was easy later on, because of how badly Mikal hounded him, what else could he do? He was worried that something else was going to happen, so he rushed his shot. And because of that, he ended up losing the game. He ended up having a worse night. He didn't have his greatest offensive performance, and that led to the Knicks winning off the game in the first place. Love to see it. I know I love to see it. David says, Towns was due for a double-double for the one he had tonight, 22 and 22. I'm also happy The Knicks got this bounce back win. My birthday is tomorrow. I turn 24. Hey, my guy David, shout out to you. First of all, happy early birthday to you. We're almost there, a few hours away. Celebrate your birthday in style. The Knicks don't play for a couple of days, so you don't have to worry about games. Go out, have fun, celebrate. Happy 24. Man, I remember what it was like when I was 24. Way more energy. I know you guys probably can't even think of recap with more energy than the energy I have now. It was a time. It was, drink to that. Happy birthday to you. Okay. Early birthday to you, 24. A little bit of honey in there. Still not going to tell you guys what that is. A little bit of honey, though. Of course, David. Of course. Always a pleasure, my guy. Josh says, I was banking on Cat getting a 20-20. I was so happy when he grabbed that 20th rebound. Hey, listen, man, you and me both. Karl-Anthony Towns tonight, the rebounding side was probably the most impressive because we all know Towns can score the ball. He can score in so many different ways. But the rebounding side, how good he goes after that, that's what we need. You notice a lot of people have been saying that the Knicks need more help inside, not only because we need another presence defensively, we also need another presence in terms of what the Knicks can provide. And I think the Knicks were able to do that when they played the double big lineup. I promise you, before we go to the stats, that's the one thing I want to talk about. Because the OG Anunoby foul trouble that we saw early on forced Tom Thibodeau to play that lineup early. And I thought we saw some very good minutes out of that lineup once they were able to play a little bit and get adjusted to themselves. We're going to get to that, though. The Meow of Wisdom says, why hasn't Jalen Brunson gone for 40-plus point games, even though Cat needs the ball to keep the offense moving? Just for the fun of it. Listen, I think that Jalen Brunson has made a concerted effort to make sure he's not shooting a lot of shots, but shooting efficient shots. When he's open, when he sees a lane, when he can attack, or he knows the Knicks are struggling. And I also think that Karl-Anthony Towns is starting to understand when Jalen Brunson is going off, he has to pick his spots when he can shoot, when he can score, and what's going to be the best thing for him to do. And I think he understands now, during the moments where the offense doesn't really need his offense, more of his threat, though. We need his threat on offense, but not really him doing anything on offense. Him getting those rebounds come in clutch. And I thought he was doing that tonight. Monkey Wrench says, gotta drink a hot toddy, Troy. Take that cough away, get you straight. Listen, man, I don't think anything is going to take away my cough. When you're as this excited as I am, and you're always hype about the Knicks 24/7, you just learn to appreciate the cough and just think about it as part of your daily life at this point. There's not enough Ricola on the planet, my brother, to take this away. But I appreciate you looking out for my health. Isaac says, Cat and Jalen should definitely be in the MVP conversation. Well, Cat's already in there. I believe the last MVP ladder that I saw had him as fifth in the league in terms of the MVP voting. Jalen's not there yet, but I agree. At least top 10. I mean, he's doing everything you need him to do. Maybe his numbers are a little bit more down this year, but I think that's just because you have to house Karl-Anthony Towns. And if Towns is having an MVP-like season and Jalen Brunson's part of that, I think Jalen deserves to be acknowledged. Part of that as well, too. I don't think Towns gets that type of season if you don't have Jalen Brunson there. So credit to both of them. Last comment. Quit says, I thought Anunoby had a good game defensively as well. The thing is, though, Quit, Anunoby always has a good game defensively. Even when he's not playing good offensively, Anunoby always does his thing. So I don't want to... I agree with your comment. He did, but I've come to expect that Anunoby will have a great defensive game because he doesn't have really bad defensive game. Not a lot. Maybe some sequences are bad, but not really anything other than that. I want to talk about the double big lineup and how effective it was. So early on, if you guys are watching the game, OG Anunoby picked up two early fouls. He could have probably stayed in the game, but Tom Thibodeau said, you know what, I have Precious Achiuwa, a backup wing here, might as well just put him in. So he put in Achiuwa there for Precious Achiuwa. He put in OG Anunoby on the bench, and Achiuwa came in for him. We saw the double big lineup earlier than expected. I think around the 8-minute mark or so. I thought the defense looked a lot better, and here's why. Gogo Batadze was in the game. Who was on him during that first possession when he was inside the paint trying to get a one-handed rebound? It was Precious Achiuwa. Towns switched. And that is what the main goal and the main aspect is, why that lineup works so well. Because that lineup can switch between Achiuwa and Towns so effortlessly because Achua is athletic. He does a lot of things that Karl-Anthony Towns can do. Not at the same level. He's not the same player, of course, but you saw it a couple of times tonight. Can he shoot the three ball? Probably not with the same accuracy as Towns can, but he still can shoot it. Enough that he's a threat that a defender has to go out there. Maybe not all the time, but if he hits it at least once, a defender will go out there, and that's going to lead him to fake it, drive, and really get the bucket that he wants to get. Because let's face it, that's his favorite play. Faking a shot, driving, and getting inside, making the easy basket. So I thought Preston Achua was doing that from time to time. Before I continue with my analysis of the double big lineup, I see we have a super chat, so I want to go in there. Oh, actually, I see we have Yuri, actually just a Rising Star member for a month, and I just want to make sure I just give him a shout out for that. So Yuri, Rising Star membership, member for a month he's giving away. After ATL game, we needed a bounce back grit W, and I think we were able to get that, Yuri. We really were. Given what we saw here from the Orlando Magic, how we were playing against them, I think we all saw that, right? The Orlando Magic tried their best to go up against us, tried their best to do what they needed to do against us. And the Knicks, for all intents and purposes, weathered the storm, and we got the W at the end of the day. And I think that is the main part about it. If we can win, even when a team is playing us aggressively like that, that's what it comes down to. And I was very happy with the Knicks and what they were able to accomplish. But going back to the double big lineup, because I was talking about it there. One of the reasons, again, it's so effective is the way the Knicks are able to switch with it. Karl-Anthony Towns can play the aggressor at 5 on offense, and then on defense, he can switch to play the 4, even though it's not great defense from Towns on other opposing 4s. With the Orlando Magic team, it works because they really can't shoot that well. So Towns not being able to guard somebody outside doesn't really hurt them because when that player drives inside, Towns will be able to be there to meet them. And Preston Achua will be able to clean it up and get the rebounds. We were able to see that with the double big lineup. I wish, and I'm praying, we're able to see it a lot more because I think it's very effective. And when Towns and Achua is running it, you saw it in the third quarter as well. When they're running it and they're locked in, the offense looks good and the defense looks good because Achua, he can switch with Mikal Bridges as well too. He can switch with a number of other players on the court, not just Karl-Anthony Towns. That's what makes him so dangerous and so good for the Knicks. I hope the Knicks understand this and they play that lineup a few more minutes. If tonight we're playing at 10 or 11 minutes a night, let's bump that up to 15, 16 minutes a night. If we're doing that, we're resting our starters more in the process and giving them fresh legs going back into the game. And that's important, especially for a Knicks team that doesn't really want to utilize their bench a lot and still play an 8-man rotation. And yes, that is a segue to the rest of the team stats and the minutes played tonight. So let's break down how that looks tonight and what the Knicks players did and how many players actually did Tom Thibodeau go through tonight. Let's take a look at that. As we can see here, 8-man rotation. I guess the minutes are coming up a little bit, even though Cam Payne only really played 10 minutes tonight. We got to really increase that. But DNPs for Matt Ryan, Jacob Toppin, Jericho Sims, and Tyler Kolek. You can make the argument that in certain times there, if we needed more size, Jacob Toppin could have absolutely been inserted into the game. I mean, the kid is 6'8", 24, had a 30-plus point game in the G League the other game. You're telling me he couldn't be utilized during this game, playing 10 minutes just to rest, I don't know, Mikal Bridges, 41 minutes, OG Anunoby, 37 minutes, Karl-Anthony Towns, 43 minutes, Jalen Brunson, 38 minutes, and Josh Hart, 33 minutes. Achua coming in at 18, Cam Payne coming in at 10, and Miles McBride coming in at 21 minutes. I mean, I know the game was close, so you had to play our players. I thought even going into that fourth quarter, we were closing out the game well, even though the Magic was starting to make a run back, trying to push the pace. That's why the starters stay out there, so I understand that. But I mean, even with that, even if that has to be the case, 41 minutes, 43 minutes, 38, 37, this is just not okay. We cannot play these minutes consistently night after night and think we're not going to risk an injury happening. An injury is going to happen. I'm not wanting that. I'm not wishing that. But when you're doing this to your starters, That's going to happen. I'm not happy with the minutes, but we got the W. And oftentimes when we get the W, a lot of people don't think about the minutes. They just think about the W, how we got it, and what we can do better. Something that we can do better is fix that minutes management, because if we don't, it's going to cause a problem. 8-man rotation is not going to work. Expand the rotation and good things will happen. Let's talk about Josh Hart tonight. 33 minutes, 5 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 12 points. Again, very, very close to averaging a triple-double. Not going to get a lot of talk about here tonight because he didn't really do a lot in terms of, normally with Josh Hart, he's getting a double-double. He's scoring more. He's doing a lot more on that end. But when he's having kind of a lower scoring game for Josh Hart and not doing that much in terms of rebounds and assists, you're not going to hear a lot about him. But if you watch the game, you clearly understand Josh Hart was effective. He was impactful. There's a reason SNY has him in that image right there, because he was able to score, and the rookie that tried to block him or try to cause some type of defensive lapse for him did nothing. And Josh Hart looked at him and said, "Who's that guy? Who are you? You play here?" Because he knew the game was already over. You got to love Josh Hart. You got to love that energy. And again, able and capable of giving you anything you want on the floor. You need him to pass. You need him to rebound. You need him to score. He can do it all and then some. And honestly, I'm happy he didn't have to get us a double-double tonight, because Karl-Anthony Towns was absorbing all of those rebounds. That's why Josh Hart really didn't have to do anything on that end. So credit to him. Another player I wanted to talk about tonight is Miles McBride. 21 minutes played, but 2 of 6 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 7 points. And the entire arena screaming, shouting Deuce McBride every time he puts up a shot. The reason I want to mention him is because he played the most minutes off the bench, 21 minutes, and it only looks like those minutes are going to increase if you want to see a better lineup. I have to say it just to get it out of the way. Gonna say it now. Cam Payne and Deuce McBride, that backcourt, that lineup needs to be explored just a little bit more. They're good guys. They're very good. Defensively, they're very, very good. All you got to do is look at the defense that was being played on Anthony Black by Cam Payne. Cam Payne, for everything he's worth, I understand now why everybody hated him when he's not on your team. He is annoying as hell. He doesn't let you breathe either. Defensively, he's annoying. He shoots the 3-ball really well, shoots it with confidence, and he's a playmaker. He can help get other people involved, help them get better. Say what you want to say. Deuce and Cam Payne, that backcourt, very, very effective. I like that backcourt, especially when they're paired with Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Preston Achua. That lineup switches everything, by the way. Everything. Oh, yeah. Replace Josh Hart with Mikal Bridges. Still can switch everything. Replace Karl-Anthony Towns with Preston Achua. You have one defensive liability, and the other 4 players on the floor can protect him with the greatest defense you'll ever be able to see of 4 other players surrounding him. We saw that in the second quarter as well, too. I love those lineups because it really is sacrificing a few of your defensive liabilities and only putting in one. Tom Thibodeau, he gets credit for that. You see, I'm a nice person. I give credit where credit is due. Not like I go off on everybody, but if you give me a reason, you're going to get the hate. You're going to get the heat. And it's going to happen because it needs to happen. You need to see change. I'm happy I saw it a little bit tonight. Let's look at the team stats, though. Team stats tonight. The Knicks and Magic actually shot pretty good from the field, which really is surprising because the Magic really couldn't make anything for the entire game. I'm surprised they got it up to 41%. 46 for the Knicks, 41 for the Magic. The Knicks from three-point line tonight, 41% compared to the Magic, 30%. Yeah, 30. 19 turnovers, not rebounds. 19 turnovers for the Knicks, 15 turnovers for the Magic. The turnovers for the Knicks are absolutely deplorable. I mean, we're not that team. We're really not that team. We're a better team than turning the ball over this many times. But for the last week, we've been turnover prone, heavy turnover prone. Not the same way we play basketball. Normally, we should be around 11. 11 turnovers. The Magic, their defense, they forced a lot of turnovers and they converted. That's the reason this game was so close. The reason that the Knicks didn't blow out the Magic, given the fact that we should have, they only had 30% from three. We should have blown them out. We couldn't because they kept playing defense, and that's how the game was close. A lot of those turnovers were forced by their great defense. Shot clock violation. How are we getting shot clock violations? Because they are suffocating us. We can't pass the ball. Every time we pass the ball, we still can't get a shot. Defense. Got to say what it is. And that's exactly what it was. But I want to go a little further. I always go a little further, but I want to go a little deeper than that. Why did the Knicks lose this game? They didn't lose this game, but why did the Knicks basically get so close in this game with the Magic? Why was this game so close against Orlando? I always want to look a little bit deeper, right? So I did. And team stats, man, do I love my team stats? They just tell you the full story. And so does the shot chart and what the breakdown says as well, too. Obviously, the Orlando Magic are the light blue and the navy blue is the New York Knicks. Very, very easy to understand why this game was so close. Look at the assist number, guys. 20 assists. 20 assists as a team. Embarrassing. And a lot of those assists, by the way, you guessed it, ding, 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 second half. Second half. We barely passed anything in that first half. Where's the consistency at? Where's the team play at? 20 assists. We shouldn't have won this game. Normally, when we're winning games, 27, 28, 29 assists. 20 assists? Embarrassing. You want to know why it's embarrassing? Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, your two starters and stars, had 5 assists apiece. They had half of your assists. 2 players had half of our assists. Embarrassing. Embarrassing as a team. Another reason that we lost this game, take a look at the points in the paint. Not lost this game. Again, I keep saying that because it felt like the Knicks should have lost this game given how they were playing. But another reason why this game was so close, take a look at the points in the paint. 48 to 42. 48 paint points to 42. The rebounding numbers, 45 to 39. I don't care. That, for me, is too close. Last season, we used to dominate teams by 15 boards or more. Now, it's 6, barely beating them on the boards. I'm not going to brag about that. Look at the shots. We took 71 shots. We allowed the Magic to take 86 shots. Team took 71 shots. And I mean, 71 shots is not going to get it done. I think the last game, do I have the other shot chart? I do. Pistons game, 79 shots. And that game, we lost. Very close game. Again, 71 shots. Not passing the ball, not getting the ball up enough, getting basically destroyed inside the paint, 48 paint points, and barely beating them in terms of rebounds. That's why the game was so close. You wanted to know? Now you know. Barely playing defense in the first half, playing more defense in the second half, not doing what we needed to do in the first half in terms of preventing them from attacking, and then they attack a lot more, and then we shut it down in the second half. But clearly, them not making their three-point shots, us being a little bit better on offense, that's the reason why the Knicks won. Passing the ball in the second half, that's why the Knicks won. Matching their defensive intensity in the second half, that's why the Knicks won. Barely rebounded them, barely out-rebounded them, barely outshot them. Put up so low numbers in terms of shots. 71 shots put up as a team. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. Can't pass the ball enough. Can't score in the paint enough. These stats show you why the game was close and why the Knicks should have lost this game and we're so lucky to have won this game. If we play this way, against the better teams in the league, it's a loss. We can be happy with it. We can celebrate it. I'm happy we have a long wait till the next game we play against Minnesota. But these are eye-opening stats. These are things I'm going into the film room tomorrow with the team. I'm breaking down the stats first, and then I'm putting on the game, and I'm replaying that entire first half at least 7 times. Watch this first half. I'm not going to say anything. Watch the first half. Watch what we allowed them to do. Watch it. Watch where the defense was not even being played and we're giving up on plays. And tell me where that's acceptable as a championship team. Because you're never going to find that. Ever. But, going back to the shot chart. Orlando did their damage where? Where, guys? You guys can see it. You guys know that the three-point shot was not there. And you guys can see. They didn't really shoot that much when they knew they were going to miss. Everything almost inside the paint. 48 points. 48 of their points came from in the paint. And I remind you guys, the final score was 100-91. That's where they did all of their damage. That's where most teams do all of their damage. So what's the formula to beat the Knicks? I've said it before. I can say it again. If a good team ran this, we might have lost. Penetrate, create, attack aggressively, and swing. You do that, you get open looks, open shots, open lanes, open cutters, easy baskets. On defense, be aggressive and switch. You do that, you will beat the Knicks. That's simple. Because the Knicks do not know how to shut that down consistently enough. And when they figure it out, the other team can run something else. Or they're going to allow the three and then get dominated from three. It's a problem. It's a problem that the Knicks normally fix, but it takes some time. Guess what? December 15th. Time's up. We got to fix it. I'm happy when we win games, but I'm happy when we break down games. Because breaking down the games lets you understand. Be happy about the victory. I am. Be happy that it's not a loss. I am. But also, break down the game and understand where it's okay not to be happy. It's okay to be unhappy with the defense that we saw at times, with the lack of defense at times, our perimeter defense, what we allow other teams to do inside the paint, how I can tell you what the blueprint is, how you guys understand what the blueprint to beat the Knicks are, how the coaching staff understands it, but sometimes we see the exact same play. It's a problem, and it's something that the Knicks need to correct as a team. Communication is key. Passing the ball is key, but giving that level of effort that we need to get the extra pass, get the extra board, make the extra play. Sometimes that's missing. And Tom Thibodeau is not to blame for that. You're going to blame Tom Thibodeau for players watching another player shoot a three? Because I'm not going to do that. I blame Thibs for a lot. I blame him for the minutes management. Clearly I do. Am I going to blame him for this? I can't. I can't blame Thibs for lack of effort. I look at the players for lack of effort. I love the win. I don't like how we won at parts, and I definitely don't like, in stretches, how we played this game. The first half illustrated that. We can't be a half or a half team. That's not going to work. Consistency is what we need, and consistency wins championships. If we're not going to be a consistent team, then you can put those championship hopes out the window because we're not going to get it. There's no way to attain that if you're not going to be a championship roster. Play that way, defend that way, score that way, and give effort that way. Only one way to do that. Lock in and play as a team. 20 assists? That's not team play. That's more isolation, trying to be a team play. Not good enough, but good enough tonight to get the W. Happy about that, but let's see what happens our next game when we face the Minnesota Timberwolves and see what we do against them and how good the Knicks can be as a team against that team. But before we end the show, let's go right to the chat, see what you guys have to say, get some of your comments before we end the show tonight. Let's see here. We have Nelly Nell in the house. Shout out to the members in the house here. I appreciate all you guys. Ariel can come off the bench for Cat, and Precious can come in for OG. That will give us a little bit more stability defensively. I agree with you. Does Tom Thibodeau agree with you, though, Nelly? I don't know. I don't think so. Unfortunately, I don't think Tom Thibodeau is going to make any of those changes, even though I agree it would be a great change to make until Mitchell Robinson comes back. Joseph says, I'm happy we blow out teams. Me too. I just wish that we blew out teams we should I just wish that we blew out teams we should be blowing out. The Orlando Magic is one of those teams. Let's see here. The Real Django says, Josh was like, who was that guy that fouled me? Yeah, he's talking about that picture right there. Anybody's wondering what that comment is, that picture right there is exactly what he's talking about. Who? What? This guy fouled me? Who are you talking to? You talking about him? Yeah, no, we good. We good here. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I loved what I saw from Josh Hart tonight. Like I said, didn't play his best game, but he gave us exactly what we needed. So, I mean, for me, I can't really ask from anything else from Mikal Bridges. I'm looking at Twitter right now, just looking to see if there's any updates from the team. I should do this more often, just to get some like game quotes and some key stats. I don't do that enough. I probably should do that. Just in case anything happens here. So this is what the Magic coach said, actually, on the Knicks and the officiating to the Knicks. He says, you have to take it for what it is. 30 free throws to 13. They're human beings, but at the end of the day, we played physical. They played physical. We appreciate all of it. You just ask for it to go the same way, both sides. That is very, very hilarious. Am I to believe that the Magic are complaining about fouls? I mean, listen, man. The Knicks were abused tonight. They were abused. I'm not saying the Magic probably didn't get some missed calls, maybe, but the Knicks were rocked all week long. Don't give me that BS, man. Get out of here with that. Greg says, this was one of the best defensive efforts, and you come on here raging like every player is supposed to be perfect. Root for another team the way you sound and have every played. Greg, I don't know what you're talking about, my brother. I think a lot of people misunderstand criticism and happiness. I already said I'm very happy about the win. I am happy that the Knicks got the W. But if you're happy with the way the Knicks won this game, then we fan differently. And that's okay. I don't mind if you criticize the way I fan. But don't tell me to feel the way you feel because you're happy about this win. I'm not happy about the way the Knicks won this game. You're happy about 20 team assists? You're happy about the way the Knicks won that first quarter? Or the way the Knicks were playing that first quarter? The way we played that first half? The defense that we saw? I'm not happy with any of that. And it's okay, by the way, to be unhappy with how certain things looked, but to be happy with the overall victory. I'm happy that we won. I'm not happy with the way we won. And I explained why. Because if we play the better teams in the league, those teams are not going to be Orlando. They're going to be better than Orlando. And if they're better than Orlando, we're going to lose those games. That's the main reason why. And the reason to talk about it is I'm not going to be happy and accept what I saw tonight. Because if you're happy with what you saw tonight, if you're happy with that level of play, we're very, very different in how we fan. I am not happy with that level of play. I'm happy with the victory, not the level of play. And if you're happy with the level of play, congrats to you. I'm glad you got what you wanted tonight. But some of us didn't get exactly what we wanted. And me, one of those things is defense. And that is the main aspect, the main issue for the Knicks right now. So I'm not saying anything that not any really other person is saying as well, too. But if you don't like the stream that I'm doing and don't like the content that I'm creating, by all means, you are free to go anywhere else and consume content anywhere else as well, too. Nobody is keeping you here, my brother. I appreciate you, though. Let's see here. David says, should the Knicks waive Sims and bring up somebody from the G League Westchester Knicks, like Chuma Okeke? I really hope they do that. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't think that they're going to do it for Sims, especially just because I feel like they still think they need that size until Robinson comes back. I think they could utilize somebody like that. I think they could utilize anybody who's young, defensive-minded, and wants to play and plays a position that is coveted around the league. He's a wing. He's 6'7". He's young, fits the age timeline. I mean, very, very good for this team right now. Jay Dragon said, I would rather see the refs let them play than calling ticky-tack fouls. I agree with that, but I think it has to be fair, though. I think it wasn't fair tonight against the Knicks. The Knicks were getting hit all night tonight. All night, and they weren't really calling fouls. And I thought Orlando was getting a lot more foul calls than the Knicks. Now, I understand in terms of the free throw percentage, we can look at the free throws, and Knicks went to the line 30 times, Orlando went to the line 13 times. But there's a reason for that as well, too. When the Orlando Magic were driving, think about the times they were driving and found somebody open as a cutter. They were doing that in the first half and got a lot of calls. They didn't really do that in the second half because the Knicks shut it off. The Knicks really did shut it off. Now, maybe they had some open looks, but it wasn't heavy. Not to that extent. Monkey Wren says, facts, Nelly Nell. KD thought all offense could win a chip, and he found out that was a lie. All offense cannot win chips. We know it can't. Karl-Anthony Towns has said that. I've said that. We've all said that. You need defense to win championships, but you also need consistency to win championships as well, too. So let's remember that. Let's see what else we got on Twitter here. You guys can continue to make comments. I'm just looking through Twitter to make sure we don't have any new updates that I missed. There's one thing I wanted to say, but I missed it. Where is it? It's the Mo Wagner situation. I want to repeat what his career high is. That's one of the reasons I want to say why I wasn't happy. Where is that stat from Mo? There we go. Center Mo Wagner has scored 31 points tonight. I think he had more than that, though, did he? Or 31? Yeah, 32 he had, actually, finally. So final, 32 points tonight versus the Knicks, setting a career high. Wagner's previous career best was 30, set on November 15, 2019 at Minnesota. So that's the reason why I don't like it. Because, again, it's another career high. I mean, you guys watched last season. You know how you felt when somebody got a career high against the Knicks. It was like, why? Why did you have to get a career high against us? Same thing. Why did Mo Wagner, somebody who clearly the Knicks don't like, Cat does not like, have to get a career high against us? It's things like that that I just cannot get behind. That's why I don't like certain things when you talk about this game. Jay Dragon says, in contrast, Orlando played their whole bench. They did. They played a lot of players as well, too. That's why they had fresh legs. And that's why they were able to attack and continue to attack. They never stopped. Monkey Wretch Built says, why did all those reports come out about Mitch like they are forming a narrative around his name for some reason? We need our guy back for sure. I think a lot of those reports are coming out because it's December 15th. It's trade deadline season. And right now with the Knicks, if you look at what their biggest trade assets are, it's going to be Mitchell Robinson, Preston Achiuwa, and Miles McBride. I'm not saying they're going to trade any of those players. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying going into this season, those were their trade pieces. And right now, a lot of people think still those are their trade pieces that they're going to utilize in some type of deal to make this team better. I think the only way that doesn't happen, though, is if the Knicks have value in Mitchell Robinson, they trust him, and they trust when he's going to be back. I think that's the main thing, but we're going to have to wait and see when that actually is. We have a date for Robinson being February in terms of his return date, but again, still an estimate. We don't know exactly when he's going to return, so all we can do really now is wait. Let's see if we have any other comments here. If not, we're just going to shut it down. Cat and Huck Porty can work in spurts too, says Nelly Nell. I agree with you. They can. Let's see what else we have here. David says, Sims should be moved from the roster. Maybe bring up somebody from the G League like Okiki and waive Sims. I think I mentioned it already. I don't think that they're going to waive Jericho Sims. And even if they did, they wouldn't waive it for Okiki. I like Okiki. Don't get me wrong. I did a video about him. You guys know how I feel about him already. I think he's a star. I think he just needs consistent minutes, and he's going to be something very, very special. What team does that? Don't know yet. But if it's the Knicks, they're going to benefit from it. Joseph says, Mitchell Robinson for who? Well, a lot of the reports out there right now have been with connecting Mitchell Robinson to the Pelicans players, which is why I haven't really done it, because those reports are coming from Fadeaway World or all of these guys. I have a rule. It's not a major rule, but it's a rule. I look at the source, right? Like if it's Yahoo Sports with Jake Fisher, if it's Ian Bagley with SNY, if it's Mark Stein, longtime NBA insider, Shams, if it's some of those people talking about the Knicks and trades, I might do a video on it. If it's Fadeaway World or what's the other one? Sporting News or whatever these other ones are. Sometimes even Bleacher Report, because even Bleacher Report over the years have really gone on the trade market and have done it by no means at all, just by hypothetically coming out with trades. And a lot of times people kind of go to those trades and think the Knicks are going to do those. So I think you're talking about a lot of those trades. Another trade that was mentioned in the offseason that I covered was the Jonas Valanciunas trade, that the Knicks were potentially looking to make that move, but obviously they ended up not doing that at all. But Jonas was a name that they wanted to get on the team, and they potentially could still do that. So something to watch there. Jay Dragon says, is Kessler still on the block? He is not. Kessler is not on the block. Danny Ainge is a robber. He's a thief. He lied to everybody. He basically took him off the market and said, yeah, he's having a good year. We don't want him on the market anymore. Go figure. No idea. Absolutely just horrendous in every single way. I hate Danny Ainge. I hate him. I'm going to drink again. I can't even talk about him, bro. I really can't. Yuri, spoiling the video for tomorrow. Moses Brown is back on the Westchester Knicks. I know he is. Defensive monster is back on the Knicks. I think you guys know where that video is headed tomorrow. I promise you I'm making that video because I'm making another plea here that the Knicks could utilize him more than Jericho Sims. Kill me if you want to. I think he could be utilized better. He has those defensive instincts. He might be slow, but you know what? The Knicks are one of the slowest paced teams in the league. It fits him perfectly, does it not? I'm just saying. Let's see here. The Real Django says, Sham says Pistons have released Paul Reed. Knicks could use Reed. I hate him too, Troy. I appreciate you, my brother. I thank you. I saw the Reed report. There's nothing behind it. I know the Knicks I don't know if they had interest. Maybe they had a flyer out on him at one point. Maybe they had some type of idea that maybe they wanted to see what he could do. I don't know if that's the case right now. I mean, it really will depend on the buyout market, where we are at that point, where the Knicks are in terms of a team record. If they're good with their team record, maybe the Knicks don't do any moves. They just look at the buyout market because it's there. I think that's another thing that the Knicks could definitely explore versus trades. So something to look at as we move forward there. David M says, what's good, Troy? Good bounce back win. It was a good bounce back win. I definitely give you that. I just didn't like the way we won, given the lack of defensive intensity in the first half. We should have blown out the Magic. We didn't. The game was a lot closer than we needed it to be, but we cleaned it up in that second half, played a lot better defense. What we also did very good is that we were moving the ball, moving ourselves, making that extra pass, giving that extra effort, and that always helps. It always makes the Knicks a better team if and when we're able to do that. So we were able to do that in the second half. It led to the Knicks winning the game, and I mean, that was really the end of it. Good as well, too, for the Knicks maintaining the lead. Every time the Magic pushed back, the Knicks just kept on moving, kept on pushing, and tried to get the win, and they did end up getting the win. So I'm happy about that. And again, I don't want people to think that I'm not. I'm just unhappy with the way that we won that game and the way that we allowed Mo Wagner to have a career high again, and the way we didn't play defense in that first half, and the way that we continued to allow teams to dominate inside, dance inside, and push against us inside. Good and bad with everything. I think even in the games that we win, I think it was even that Raptors game. We won the Raptors game, and I was so hot after the way we won that game because of how close that game was. I feel the exact same way about this win. When we win dominantly and the way we should, I'm always hype. But when we barely win against teams we should dominate, yeah, I'm going to be mad. David Smith says, Trae Young rolled dice on the Knicks logo at center court at MSG after an utterly embarrassing and humiliating defeat to the Hawks, while his Hawks teammates looked on in laughter. Where is the Knicks' pride and effort and toughness? Does this team have the mindset to be champions? I mean, that's a very good question and a very fair point, David. I can't ignore that. I mean, you don't allow people to roll dice on MSG, fake or not. You don't allow it. But at the same time, I can understand where Jalen Brunson is coming from. What could we have done? You want to get it technical? You want to knock him out and then not be there for the next game? The way you don't allow him to roll dice is win the game in the first place. So there's another part to that as well, too. But I think the Knicks took that soft thing personally, and tonight they were definitely more aggressive, especially in that second half. But in that first half, they did look a little bit soft because they were allowing the Magic to push them around and get whatever they wanted to get inside. And that is not a hallmark of a championship team. So I understand exactly what David is talking about here. Let's see here. Yeah, you know what, Yuri, I understand. Look, people are mad about the dice roll. They're mad. I didn't do a video, if you guys knew. I didn't do a video about the dice roll because, I mean, first of all, I didn't even do the normal post game. I don't know if anybody caught that. I was so angry. I was cutting that video, trying to do my normal post game video I always release for you guys, right? I didn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't cut that post game enough without getting so mad to want to break my things. So I just said, you know what? I'm not going to do it to myself. I'm not going to do it to my mental health to get myself that mad to release a video that I don't even want to release. So I didn't even do it. I didn't. So I understand exactly what they're talking about. But in that same conversation, we have to understand that we're third in the Eastern Conference right now. The Hawks are not. We could be in a worse situation. We're not. So that's why I'm saying you can look here, you can look here. We can point to the negatives, we can point to the positives. What I like to do, just to keep it fair, I point to both. And that's why some people don't like what I do, because I keep it very, very fair at times. There'll be some games I'm praising Mikal heavily because I love what he's doing. And some games I'm killing him. Some games I'm loving the Knicks. Some games I'm killing them. Because it goes by what they do. I know what to expect out of them. I know what to get out of them. So when we don't get it, I know what to say. I know what to argue back. I know what to call out. And I do that. And why do you think I do that? You think I call out people because I love to call out people? Oh, yeah, I love to call out. I don't like to call out anybody. I don't want to call out anybody. I hate having to do it in the first place. I'd rather not have to do it. But if I see it, I'm going to say it. It's a gift and a curse. But I use it the way I need to. Oh, my God, Yuri. I agree with you 100%. Yuri's comment, bro, Hartenstein pissed me off so much. I'm going to try to stay calm here. I'm going to try my best to stay calm here. I hated that Hartenstein comment. Everybody wants to talk about after the fact. You know, people are always so tough after the fact. Of course, you're not even on the floor. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have allowed him to do that. Right. You would have took the technical, got ejected out of the game, and missed time because you hit him after the game. Don't say stupid things like that. Don't say dumb things like that. Don't say things you would not do. Don't do that. Dumb comment altogether. I hated that but you know what? Worse that we asked him that question in the first place. Two problems there. Dominic says, how will we do against the Timberwolves? If we play like this, not well. If we allow them to dance inside the paint, not great. But if we play consistent basketball for 4 quarters, for 48 minutes, the way we were playing that second half today, we will do very well against them. It's not like they're a great defensive team right now, even though I will give them credit that over the last 5 to 7 games, their defense has gotten a lot better. But it doesn't mean it's perfect, and it does mean the Knicks can still take advantage of it. Just got to wait and see. The real Django says, there's no respect from F and Trae Young, so F him. Next time, beat the damn Hawks and play hopscotch on the Phillips Arena floor afterwards. Listen, I don't care what they do. I don't care if they even do that. All I want to see moving forward is a little bit more pride. A little bit more pride to wear that uniform. To understand what it means to be a New York Knicks player and what we represent. What we allow and what we do not allow. We don't allow that. We don't allow plays like that. We don't allow teams to come into our house and do whatever they want to do inside the paint. We're a better team than that, and we can be a better team than that, and I know that we will be. News from everywhere, too, says Hartenstein thought he was going to do something in OKC, and he ruined the Knicks. Yeah, I agree. He definitely did. Nelly Nell says Hartenstein equals Huck Porty. I don't know if they equal each other. We don't see enough of him, honestly, to even say that. But I think Huck Porty has his own game, his own characteristics that make him good. And if we see him more consistently with this team, with more minutes, maybe he could be exactly what we need off the bench. But Tom Thibodeau will not play him aggressively or consistently enough. And also, I think he's injured right now with an ankle injury, so he couldn't even suit up to begin with. Joseph says, Knicks need to be tough. That's how New Yorkers are. David M says, we need an enforcer still. We do. The enforcer is likely going to be Mitchell Robinson, but even if he is, when and how many games is he going to be available for? We really don't know. David Smith says, OKC looks like they're going to go to the NBA Finals this year. They do. They absolutely do. They're playing very good basketball, very team-oriented basketball. And I appreciate that from them because that's basketball that looks good. That's basketball that's going to win you championships, and that's what we saw. My goodness, we have gone over on this postgame, have we not? Normally, it was supposed to be about an hour or so, but we went a little bit longer because, again, we had the chat gang going off, everybody talking, and I think we had around 80 to around 150 or maybe even more than that people in the chat today. So amazing. Love you guys. Love that you guys love the postgame, man. Listen, I'm always on the fence with these postgames, because I don't know if people like the energy. If they love what I'm doing, they love what I'm talking about. But you know what? Time and time again, every time I do it, you guys love the energy. You love the reactions. You love the stats. I see everybody coming and, saying, I love that you do this. I love the engagement. I love that we get to connect with you this way. So, you know what? As much as I can, I will always do my best to try to do post games for you guys. When they go to the West Coast, it's very hard to do that because they play so late, and I can't really do it during those times. But I promise you, when I can, I will. I did a poll a couple of weeks ago. People told me that this was the update they wanted to see for the show. More post games. Well, ask and you shall receive. I'm happy you guys enjoy it. Very happy you guys chose this stream to join me on and make this your stream dedicated to getting your Knicks post-game information. I really do appreciate that, guys. Again, you could be anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. We are on a goal still to try to reach 25,000 subscribers. It's crazy to even think that we're nearly there. We could really use that support. Everybody who's already subscribed, thank you. If you're a member of the channel, thank you so much. Enjoy those exclusive videos that I'm always dropping that you only get access to. And of course, the giveaways that we will be announcing this week, and we will be doing multi-giveaways this week. A hat will be given away. A jacket will be given away. Those giveaways are only members. So if you want to be accessing those giveaways, you have to be a member. Very easy to do that. If you're a subscriber, you're going to see that If you're a subscriber, you're going to see that subscribe button change into a join button. Once you hit that, you'll be able to join this channel as a member, donate to the show, whatever you want, and choose the tier that you want to join. And once you do that, you'll get access not only to exclusive content, live streams that maybe I'll be doing in the future with only members, but also you will get priority in terms of your comments, and you'll also get a lot of other exclusive benefits and perks, including being entered into giveaways and having access to them. And this month, we are not doing any shortage of giveaways. We are giving away 2 items, ladies and gentlemen. It will be a Knicks fitted hat from Fanatics, and it will be a jacket donated to us by one of our other channel members in Tony Riviera. More comments and updates about that later on in this week, so definitely stay tuned for that. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed tonight's episode, and if you did, please go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.